You know, big event that took place in the Roosevelt Room, the president announcing that the EPA has repealed these federal limits on emissions for cars, trucks, and power plants. And in the president's presentation, he mentioned that American families will save $2,500 for a new car or truck. Where is the promise coming from automakers that they're going to pass along their savings to those families all across the country?
It's a great question, John. That was an economic analysis that was provided to the president, and I'd be happy to provide that to you so you can take a look yourself. But I'm glad you brought up the president's announcement last week, because this is one of the largest deregulatory actions ever taken in the United States of America. And overall, it's going to save our country $1.3 trillion in regulatory burdens that have really done nothing for our country, nothing for our environment, nothing for our economy. In fact, this announcement received widespread and bipartisan praise. I think I recall seeing the editorial board of the Washington Post, of all places, even commending the president and Administrator Zeldin for this historic action last week. So there's no doubt it is going to save the American consumer money, and I'd be happy to provide that specific economic analysis to you. Sure, in the middle, go ahead. Yes.
Thank you. Governor Moore in Maryland signed a bill that is ending the law enforcement cooperation with ICE. And by doing that, a lot of local sheriffs are not happy, and in fact, they met today in Annapolis to come up with legal action. What is the message of the White House to those sheriffs and to the residents of Maryland?
Well, first of all, it's another despicable action by Governor Wes Moore. Why would you prevent your state and local law enforcement from cooperating with federal law enforcement? If you just ask them, to your point, if you ask a sheriff across the country if they want to have that level of cooperation and coordination with the federal government, of course they do. It makes their jobs easier. It keeps them out of hostile and dangerous environments. It allows them to detain illegal alien criminals who have committed heinous crimes in our country with the most safe circumstances possible. So the president, of course, continues to always stand on the side of law enforcement, and this is another just horrible and frankly political action taken by Governor Wes Moore, and unfortunately the people of his state are going to reap the consequences of it. Sure.
Thank you, Caroline. President Trump just said on Truth Social that it would be a big mistake for the UK to hand over control of Chagos Islands to Mauritius. But the State Department earlier this week has said the U.S. does support that handover. So does this post now suggest that the U.S. does not, or that President Trump had changed his mind on this?
The post should be taken as the policy of the Trump administration. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's directly from President Trump. That's the beauty of this president and his transparency and relaying this administration's policies to all of you and to the rest of the world. Carrie, go ahead.
There's been a series of walkouts from public school students that have been sort of provoked by a number of public school administrators. What are your thoughts on this? What's the administration's thoughts on this? Will they be taking any actions on these walkouts against ICE?
Look, I think obviously the president and the administration support the First Amendment rights of all American citizens, and if they're peacefully protesting, then that's their constitutional obligation and right and responsibility to do so. Of course, the administration also wants to see American school children in school learning and educating, and I think it does speak to the left-wing bias that is unfortunately very present in our nation's public school system, and it's something that Secretary McMahon has been working very hard to root out of our public school system by ensuring that local governance and local control takes place over our nation's public schools, and that parents and educators closest to students have a greater say over curriculum and academia in our country. Take a couple more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. The Vatican announced earlier today that they would not be joining the Board of Peace Initiatives over concerns that it could potentially compete with the United Nations over handling crisis conflicts. What's the White House's response to that?
Yeah, look, we saw that. I think it's deeply unfortunate. I don't think that peace should be partisan or political or controversial. And of course, the administration wants all those who were invited to join the Board of Peace to join. Because again, the Board of Peace Peace is overseeing the reconstruction of a territory that has been plagued with violence, with bloodshed, with poverty for far too long. And this president has a very bold and ambitious plan and vision to rebuild and reconstruct Gaza, which is well underway because of the Board of Peace. This is a legitimate organization where there are tens of member countries from around the world, and we think that's an unfortunate decision. In the back, sure.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I'll go to both of you, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead, and then Jake, you can go. You're all
Caroline, can you tell me, is there an update regarding the tariff rebate checks that the White House has promised?
I don't have an update for you on timeline, but I know that it's something that the president and his economic team continue to very seriously discuss.
Thank you, Carolyn. I've got two questions. First, does the president see some sort of religious or prophetic component to the unfolding developments in the Middle East?
I haven't spoken to him about that particular perspective, to be honest with you, but of course the president wants peace for all people of all faiths all around the world, and that's part of his push to create peace in the Middle East, which he has done successfully.
And my second question is, as his popularity rises around the world, and especially in regions where he's invested so much effort in promoting peace and ending wars, do you think we might be watching the emergence of a global MAGA movement? Is this something that the president has discussed at all?
Well, I don't know, Jake, but I sure hope so. Take a couple more. Go ahead. Sure.
I wanted to ask you about Iran. As the U.S. military builds up around Iran, is President Trump coordinating war plans with Israel so that if he does decide to strike, that Israel will be a part of those strikes?
Look, I don't have any specifics on the president's recent conversations with Israel. As you know, Prime Minister Netanyahu was just here at the White House last week or the week before. But again, with respect to Iran, there was some progress made yesterday. There are still a lot of details to discuss, and we'll continue to see how this plays out. You know, the United States government, of course, is always in close communication and correspondence with the state of Israel, and that starts right at the top with the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu themselves. One more. Go ahead.
Last week we saw the underlying affidavit for the search warrant that was executed in Fulton County, and there was not any mention in that document about foreign election interference in the 2020 election. I'm wondering if DNI Gabbard has uncovered that in Georgia or in Puerto Rico, where we know her team was sent as well.
I don't have any updates for you on that today. I would defer you to the director's office herself.
Caroline,
Sure.
two questions. One on the president's schedule today. It says he has signing time. What is he signing today? Are we expecting executive orders or actions? That's the first question. And then second, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that a U.S. arms sale package for Taiwan is in limbo. Can you just confirm this reporting / offer any additional comment? And how concerned is the administration that if an arms deal with Taiwan went through, that this could disrupt the China-U.S. Trade truce?
Sure. Well, I haven't read the full Wall Street Journal report. I will just say with respect to an arms sale to Taiwan, I don't have any announcements or updates on that for you today. And to your first question about what the president will be signing, he will be signing an executive order, which you will all be hearing about later this afternoon, and you will see him in 1 hour at the Black History Month reception. We'll see you there. Thank you.
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon and welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. You were just watching White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt taking reporter questions on a range of topics, and one reporter asking the question about the Board of Peace and that the Vatican has refused to join it. And of course, we know the Board of Peace meeting officially tomorrow, first one coming up. And the response from the White House has been that it's unfortunate that the Vatican chose to do this. She says, the press secretary says, peace should not be a partisan issue. Okay, first story. The U.S. Department of Labor is investigating California's Employment Development Department. In a statement to the California Post, Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer said, immediately we are engaging a specialized strike team to uncover any potential fraud or abuse and quickly moving to protect the American worker and taxpayers. She says, I look forward to restoring the California Unemployment Insurance Program's integrity and financial health. She claims that the previous administration turned a blind eye at the labor programs. The probe will be similar to the Minnesota fraud investigations. California still owes $20 billion to the federal government for unemployment insurance claims during the COVID-19 pandemic. The debt is being shouldered by employers. California's Nevada County Sheriff's Office is holding a news briefing with the latest information regarding missing skiers after an avalanche in Lake Tahoe's backcountry. Let's take a look at that.
In the last several years. Again, my name is Shannon Moon, SHANNANMOON, and I am the Sheriff of Nevada County. It's important to know this is an ongoing incident and some facts do change. So this is the information that we have at the time. A clear example of that is just as we were going through our investigation last night, knowing some of the numbers have changed on who we've been looking for. So at 11:30 yesterday on February 17th, our dispatch center, we have a regional dispatch center here in Nevada County, received a 911 call reporting of the avalanche in the Castle Peak area of Nevada County. Castle Peak is north of Interstate 80, right there at the Donner Summit, heading into Truckee. It's a very remote, rugged area on the north side of the highway there. It is not a groomed area or a ski resort area. This is a backcountry area, rugged terrain, where we have a lot of recreationists in the summer hiking, and in the winter, clearly the over snow skiing and such. It's very close to the Pacific Crest Trail, and it is in the Tahoe National Forest. It was initially reported that 16 individuals were on a guided trip by Blackbird Mountain Guides out of Truckee. There were 4 guides and initially reported as 12 guests. This information was later updated after we got on scene. We were working with Blackbird Mountain Guides the entire time. They provided us with their manifest for their trip. Initially, that trip had 12 clients signed up for that trip. Once we got on scene, we were told and confirmed that only 11 went on that trip. One person, last minute, decided to back out of that trip. So this was a part of a three-day trip from Blackbird Mountain Guides to the Frog Lake Huts, which is right in that area of Castle Peak. They have been, and yesterday was their 3rd day that they were returning, coming out of the backcountry, coming back to the trailhead when the avalanche occurred. The Sheriff's Office, along with Truckee Fire, immediately started coordinating a response to get into the area, and we requested mutual aid from both our friends to the east, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, and the Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue Team. We also requested assistance from our friends farther to the east in the state of Nevada, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office and the Washoe County Search and Rescue Team. That was all coordinated through our mutual aid system in California, which is the California Office of Emergency Services. Highly skilled rescue teams departed yesterday from both our Boreal Mountain Ski Resort, which is on the south side of the highway right there at the trailhead, and at the Tahoe Donner Alder Creek Adventure Center, which is in Tahoe Donner. So we had 2 different teams deploying, roughly 50 skilled folks deploying into the scene, both from the south side and from the north side, trying to come in to this area. Extreme weather conditions, I would say, is an understatement. Lots of snow, gale force winds, winds making it impossible to see. So it was very much a slow and steady pace, going with snowcats, skiers, going up into the area, which is still considered a very high danger for avalanche. So our tracked mobile equipment, getting them to the scene on Highway 80, which was closed, lots of snow on the roadway. Took us a while to get our equipment into the location before we could deploy into the backcountry. And then once we decided to put the teams out there, again, with lots of safety plans, I can't stress that enough, making sure that our responders and our volunteers and our staff were safe in getting to the location, knowing that we had 6 survivors based on the information that we were getting on communication through the iPhone SOS, that we could have conversations with them. Once we arrived at the location, it was just after 5:30 p.m. last night when we had a snowcat that was able to get to about 2 miles before they got to the scene. And so from the 2 miles in, they skied in because again, the tracked machinery and the potential for another avalanche. So they skied in from there. They were able to locate the 6 survivors. They were sheltered. They had some equipment with them trying to not only stay warm, but they had medical issues as well. They had themselves already started, looking for their teammates and their clients that were missing in the avalanche. They were able to locate 3 decedents at the time when they were waiting for us to get there to help rescue them. Once at 5:30, once our team got there, again, extreme conditions. The 2 of the 6 were not mobile. They could not walk because of the injuries they sustained during the avalanche. And we were able to safely get them the 2 miles from that location to the snowcat. And 4 others were able to get to the snowcat themselves. So all 6 were rescued off of the mountain. The information I have at the time at this time is that of the 6, 1 was a Blackbird Mountain guide, and 5 survivors were clients on that tour. Of the folks that are missing, so again, a total of 11, right? 9 women and 6 men total. Of the 15 that were on this guided trip, they were 9 women and 6 men. We were able to rescue 1 man and 5 women. So the survivors, ranging in ages from 30 to 55 years of age. 8 of the 9 additional skiers have been located deceased. We are still looking for 1 of the members at this time. Due to the ongoing challenges of the weather, the avalanche conditions, the effort remains ongoing, as well as our search for the remaining skier. But the weather is a factor. It's not a resource issue as we speak. It is a weather condition and safety condition for our response teams. Of the 2 that were injured, 1 individual was stabilized last night and released. 1 is still being treated at the hospital. I've been told both subjects are non-life-threatening injuries, so that's good to know. The guide company has been very cooperative, providing us the individual information from their trip. They also had members arrive at our location when we deployed into the field, and they responded with us. They wanted to do everything that they could to assist. The cause of death clearly will not be able to be confirmed. One, we still have to get to the decedents. We still have to be able to identify those decedents, and then we will determine through contract with Placer County. We contract with them for all of our pathology. That should take some time to determine mechanism of injury and truly the cause of death for these individuals. The avalanche yesterday was about 1 mile away from a different avalanche that occurred at the beginning of January in that same Castle Peak area. Please understand that this incident remains ongoing. Our focus remains on recovering, but the snow and the unsure conditions are creating an issue to making sure that we can safely do that. We did have a conversation with the families of the folks that are still outstanding, and let them know that our mission has went from a rescue to a recovery. It's a difficult conversation to have with loved ones, so I please ask for your patience with the family members. This is ongoing, and I can't even imagine the amount of questions and stress that those families are going through right now. as we move forward through this. Public safety reminders. Check avalanche forecasts and weather reports before traveling anywhere in the backcountry. Locally, the Sierra Avalanche Center is a great resource. Avoid closed areas, posted areas, avoid all of those high-risk areas. Always communicate your plans. Travel with a partner, share your route, and consider all of the avalanche training dangers that are in our beautiful community, but definitely a high danger for that. So with that, I'll ask the Placer County Sheriff Wayne Wu to come up and talk about that mutual aid that his agency reported and responded with us.
Thank you, Sheriff Moon. My name is Wayne Wu, W-O-O. I'm the current sheriff of Placer County. First of all, on behalf of myself and all the men and women of the Placer County Sheriff's Office, I want to offer my condolences to the family in this very trying time. The Placer County Sheriff's Office, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, and the Nevada County Sheriff's Office has a very unique relationship with the challenges of providing services in the Lake Tahoe Basin. We work very closely together, and we value that relationship and provide mutual aid to each other. And I know Sheriff Moon would provide just as many resources to the constituents of Placer County if this emergency were to occur in our jurisdiction. So Sheriff Balaam with Washoe County couldn't make it over the summit. He tried to be here today, but I appreciate all of his efforts in this response as well. On the initial response, the Placer County Sheriff's Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue Team responded with 2 snowcats and 28 members of our search and rescue team. I can't speak highly enough of the men and women that make up the Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue Team. They are some of the highest rated, best, most well-trained, selfless servants that you'll find in the country right here in the Lake Tahoe Basin. These are true heroes that answer the call and selflessly serve and put themselves in harm's way when we call and there are other members of our community in need. This incident has specifically struck our organization and that team hard, as one of the 9 missing decedents is a spouse of one of our Tahoe Nordic Search and Rescue Team members. So as you can understand, this has not only been challenging for our community, it's been a challenging rescue, but it's also been challenging emotionally for our team and our organization. We are committed to being here until the end and making sure we make all these recoveries. As Sheriff Moon mentioned, the decedents will be transported to the Placer County morgue upon recovery and getting them off the mountain down at our Roseville facility. But in closing, I would like to add my request to members of the public during this time, and that is please avoid the Sierras during this current storm and in the upcoming days. Avoid mountain travel. It's treacherous. Avoid the backcountry. Please allow us to focus all of our resources on continuing to recover these bodies for the family and bring them home. Just yesterday, while we were responding to this incident, we got pulled off and had to pull resources for other rescues and overdue skiers. So please, over the next couple of days until this incident comes to a conclusion, please avoid the Sierras. And with that, I will introduce California Office of Emergency Services Chief Don O'Keefe. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Don O'Keefe, and it's spelled O''K-E-E-F-E. I'm the Chief of Law Enforcement for the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, also serve as a statewide law enforcement mutual aid coordinator. First of all, on behalf of Governor Newsom and Director Tina Curry, I just want to offer our condolences as well to the families. I do want to, before I talk a little bit about the outside mutual aid, I want to echo what Sheriff Wu was talking about, the incredible search and rescue people that do this on a daily basis. The vast majority of these individuals are volunteers. They, a lot of time, buy their own equipment, they train on their own time, and they put a big investment into it. So we really big shout out to our volunteers statewide. Yesterday, around 11:30, the California State Warning Center received a call from a private Beacon, one of the companies, that there was an emergency. We were able to track it to an area in remote Nevada County. We reached out to the Nevada County Sheriff's Office. They had already gotten word of this incident. My staff responded, and our job in this type of situation, like any mutual aid, is we're there to support the incident commander. Our job is to get the resources that incident commander needs to safely and successfully complete that mission. So during this time period, one of my personnel was communicating with one of the guides for over a 4-hour period, giving information back to the Nevada Sheriff's Office and, coordinating what rescues could be permitted. So we have a very, very robust, as the sheriff said, very robust mutual aid system in California. It usually starts surrounding counties, cities help themselves. Where we really come into it is when resources need to come from regional or statewide. And in this case, the request for specialized equipment. Now, you're talking about a winter situation where you have to have rescuers that, searchers, rescuers that have the right equipment. They can stay out overnight if needed be in this environment. So we reached out statewide as far away as Ventura and Los Angeles County for certain specific type of resources that the sheriff was needing. As she has mentioned, this is not, at this point, is not a resource issue. The resource has.
You were just watching California officials giving an update on the avalanche in Lake Tahoe's backcountry, saying the investigation is ongoing and finding 5 women and 1 man in the missing skiers. 8 have been declared deceased and 1 is still missing. But the investigation is ongoing amid extreme weather there, so that is a factor, the officials have said. Okay, we're going to take a break. Trump's Board of Peace will hold its first official meeting tomorrow in Washington. It's going to bring together more than 24 nations to rebuild the Gaza Strip. Don't go away.
I have traveled all over the world to 50 countries now, and I have never seen a production any better than this anywhere.
Breathtaking. It is absolutely stunning.
It's so uplifting.
I feel better about the world.
It was encouraging, gave me hope.
It was absolutely amazingly divine.
I thought that I was going to heaven.
You have to come see it.
Multiple times.
It's worth every penny.
Make sure you see it. Make sure you see it.
Returns to David Koch Theater, March 25th through April 12th. Shenyun.com.
I'm Amy Grant, and I want to talk to you from my heart about the heart. I would have been the last person on the list to say this woman has a problem with her heart. So no, there was nothing about my life that said, you have a ticking time bomb in your chest. But I did. I wound up in the office of a cardiologist because I was there with my husband. And at the tail end of that, the cardiologist looked at me and said, I want to see you. No one was more surprised than I was to learn I was living with a rare heart condition. He said, Amy, this condition, you'll be fine, and then catastrophic. A few months later, I had open heart surgery that saved my life. And I owe it to the research and life-saving medical breakthroughs developed by the American Heart Association. That's why I'm asking you to join me and become a monthly donor to the American Heart Association. Please call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough, get the next person trained in CPR, and get the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. If this could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, but your support can save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card and we'll send you this special t-shirt you can wear to show you're part of a community of monthly donors working to help save more lives like mine. I'm grateful for the American Heart Association. Their research gave me more time to do the things I love with the people I love. So listen to your heart. I'm here today because I did. Please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now to become a monthly donor and help save even more lives. Thank you.
Is deep sea fish oil really healthy? Due to pollution in the oceans,
Most fish contain heavy metal elements and radioactive substances. That's why it's so important to choose a pure source of omega-3. Puritang green vegetable omega-3 is made from purslane and perilla seeds, which are rich in nutrients and minerals. It effectively improves brain power and is beneficial to the heart's health. Puritang green vegetable omega-3. Eat 2 a day and you'll feel brand new.
President Trump will host a Board of Peace meeting at the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace in D.C. tomorrow. The White House has more on the president's plan. Listen.
He will announce that member states have pledged more than $5 billion towards the Gaza humanitarian and reconstruction efforts and have also committed thousands of personnel to the International Stabilization Force and local police to maintain security and peace for Gazans.
The White House says over 20 countries will attend the meeting. The president will deliver opening remarks and give more details about the $5 billion investments. And Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says a little bit of progress was made after U.S. and Iranian delegates met in Geneva, Switzerland yesterday, but the two sides are still very far apart on some issues. She says she believes the Iranians will come back to the U.S. side with more details in the next couple of weeks.
The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world. Diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration. He's talking to many people. Of course, his national security team, first and foremost, and you know who the members of that team are. And this is something, obviously, the president takes seriously. He's always thinking about what's in the best interest of the United States of America, of our military, of the American people, and that's how he makes decisions with respect to military action of any kind.
Trump posting on Truth Social moments ago that should Iran decide not to make a deal, it may be necessary to use the U.S., use Diego Garcia in order to eradicate a potential attack by Iran. He's referring to the British island in the Indian Ocean that's home to a U.S. military base. The UK recently decided to hand over control of the island to the African nation of Mauritius. Trump is opposing the handover, saying it's a big mistake and a blight to the UK. The president continues to urge the UK not to give up the island. And joining us to discuss is Gerard Filitti, foreign affairs analyst specializing in the Middle East. He's also an attorney specializing in international law. So good afternoon, Gerard. This meeting, Board of Peace meeting tomorrow, it's going to bring together more than 24 nations to rebuild the Gaza Strip. I'm wondering, what would you like to see from this meeting? Perhaps more concrete details and timelines?
That's absolutely right. What we're looking to see is more detail in terms of a timeline and details when we can expect reconstruction to begin, what we can expect to see happen on the ground in Gaza. Because right now, the biggest problem is that even though we do have this commitment from 20 countries, even though there is $5 billion plus that's been raised for reconstruction efforts, Hamas still has its weapons. Hamas still militarily controls Gaza. So it's very difficult to see how you implement reconstruction while you still have a terrorist entity that's on the ground in Gaza.
Okay, so that's one concern. Any other concerns you might have right now about the Board of Peace, whether it can, really effectively reconstruct Gaza and maintain peace?
I think that there is good optimism that the Board of Peace can, because if you look at who is a member of it, you have most of the Middle Eastern countries that have a stake in peace and stability in the Middle East. You have Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, UAE. All of these countries are part of the Board of Peace. So they have a vested interest in calming the temperature because they don't want to see more war. They don't want to see a detriment of people or economies in the region. So they have a motivation to make sure to push through so that the people in Gaza understand that they need to be a part of this process. The biggest hindrance may be the United Nations, which is meeting tomorrow ahead of the Board of Peace meeting. So we have yet to see how the United Nations will receive the proposals for the Board of Peace.
So as you mentioned, 20 countries here in the Board of Peace, some priorities align and some perhaps may not align exactly. What is your analysis on Gaza's governance and how that might evolve with the involvement of the Board of Peace?
I think that is a key piece because we want to see a transition to a stable, more democratized Gaza, where the people have a say in who runs their country and it's not a terrorist organization. And when you do have regional actors like the Saudis, like the Kuwaitis, like the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the Turks, all of whom have connections and relationships with various factions in Gaza, that is more promising that people will be able to sit down and work out a different board, if you will, a government body for Gaza that will be able to take on an increasing role in managing the affairs of that country. So there's more optimism that that can actually happen precisely because of the composition of the Board of Peace involving countries that are important in the area.
So what do you think about the long-term outlook for this group, this Board of Peace? There are a lot of countries in it right now, but I have to bring up that a number of U.S. allies, some are major U.S. allies, not joining this Board of Peace. I mean, what would happen to the Board of Peace after Trump leaves office? So maybe you can talk to us about some of these concerns.
Well, that's a really good question, and I think a lot of them will be answered by what happens specifically within Gaza in the next few years. The Board of Peace is set up, it's meant to be something that addresses more than just Gaza, that's meant to stabilize different conflicts in the world, but whether or not that is possible will depend on what happens in the next few years within Gaza. And while European countries like the United Kingdom, like France, like Germany have not yet joined, they've said no to joining at this time, the door remains open for them to come in at a later point in time if they see that the Board of Peace is actually having a good effect. So this reluctance by some European countries, more traditional allies of the United States, if you will, does not mean that they won't be involved further down the road.
So how does this Board of Peace fit into the equation where the United Nations exists? Talk to us about the bigger picture here.
I think specifically when it comes to Gaza, when it comes to the West Bank, the conflict between Israel and Palestine, the United Nations has shown itself to be ineffective for many, many years, going back decades. If anything, we've seen during the war with Gaza that UNRWA, that United Nations personnel were actually involved in terrorist atrocities. We've seen that the United Nations, even with Hezbollah in Lebanon, has been facilitating the positioning of terrorists for terrorist attacks against Israel. So the United Nations has not been very effective at keeping the peace. It's kept the people of Gaza in a state of perpetual dependency on Hamas because of policies that were meant to punish Israel instead of promote the improvement of the economy. So really what we're seeing now is a different approach. We're seeing outside factors. We're seeing a new group, the Board of Peace, coming in, hopefully to succeed where the United Nations has failed. The United Nations still has a role to play in the region more generally, but when it comes to the reconstruction of Gaza and peace in the Middle East, the United Nations has not done a good job of it, and maybe it is time to see what the Board of Peace can do.
So on that point, you're saying that the United Nations has been ineffective in certain aspects. Can the Board of Peace be an alternative to the UN?
I think it absolutely can. When you look at the United Nations and its mandate, what it has really done over the years is provide aid, meaning that it enabled people to subsist, to have food and water, to have basic necessities, but not to build up their economies, not to build up a democratic country, not to thrive in the region. So the Board of Peace is dedicated towards that end. It's meant specifically to improve the lives, the conditions, the governments of the region. So that is what is fundamentally different, is this is a board that's investing serious money into uplifting the economy and the people, where the United Nations, all it did was try to keep things stable and as is.
Okay, with the time left, there's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that is what Vice President J.D. Vance said about Iran talks. Specifically that Iran was ignoring Washington's red lines related to its nuclear program, Iran's nuclear program. So what are Iran's intentions when it comes to its nuclear program?
I think Iran has spelled out its intentions for many years now and has played a cat and mouse game with the United States and the West. It keeps promising to come to the table and negotiate, but all it really wants is to continue developing its nuclear power, continue to enrich uranium to a point that it is almost military grade, and continue and rescind sanctions so that it can use money from the West, from sales of oil, in order to rebuild its economy, further develop its military ambitions, and provide for terror support in the region. We're not really seeing a fundamental change in Iran. The only thing that's different now is that we have the United States that is resolved to take military action if Iran does not come to an agreement. Will there be an agreement? It's hard to tell at this stage. It does not look promising, but that's not to say that they're not trying to come to an agreement.
Okay, so then what's next? If Iran is not willing to compromise enough, let's say, and Washington is holding firm on its red lines, where does that leave us?
I think that leaves us to a position where we may very well see military action against Iran. What form of military action, that remains to be seen. It can be something like we saw last summer, targeted strikes against nuclear facilities, against enrichment facilities, against the sites that are used to build ballistic missiles. But it could also be broader than that. It could target the government itself and other military installations in order to give the Iranian people the chance to rise up and take over their country. As we've seen since December, there's been a growing pressure with demonstrations and protests against the government and a brutal humanitarian crackdown that shows the people of Iran want change. So what we will see militarily can range from similar strikes to what we saw last year to a decapitation of the Iranian government so that the people could take it back.
Okay, just one final thing, Gerard. You brought up the ballistic missiles. What do you think is the likelihood that the U.S. will get Iran to limit its ballistic missiles?
Iran is always claiming that these missiles are for peaceful purposes. Believe it or not, they want to launch satellites with these missiles, which is not what they're really for. They're meant to threaten Europe and the United States more directly by developing missiles that can reach us. So I think for the United States, Iran's ability to develop ballistic missiles, to have ballistic missiles and nuclear fuel refined beyond a certain point is a non-starter. It will continue to be a red line for the United States. And I think President Trump is in a very difficult position to cede ground on that, especially because he was so critical of the Obama-era nuclear deal, which did not really result in any change in Iran.
I just had to chuckle a little bit. You said Iran wants to use the ballistic missiles to send satellites. But anyway, great comments, Gerard, today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A senior department official released new evidence yesterday as supports U.S. allegations that China conducted an underground nuclear test in June 2020. The Assistant Secretary of State spoke at an event hosted by the Hudson Institute.
We've already seen China recycle long-standing statements about arms control that attempt to shift primary responsibility for progress on Russia and the United States. All the while, Beijing rapidly builds up toward parity. As an aside, I'd ask, is it parity with the United States? Is it parity with Russia? No one knows. They've been using these lines in tactic for several decades. Frankly, I think the rest of the world has been enabling this behavior by giving a pass to those that make this argument. But for those who buy the narrative, let me ask, do you really think that the People's Republic of China will be incentivized toward meaningful arms control after they've already achieved parity or better? I think we know the answer to that question.
He says China tried to hide the 2020 underground nuclear test by detonating the device in a spacious underground cavity to diminish seismic waves. The U.S. earlier this month accused China of performing such secretive nuclear arms tests and implementing measures to restrict seismic evidence. China is a signatory to the 1996 Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, but not a ratifier. It rejected the initial U.S. accusation at an international conference this month. Beijing's last acknowledged underground test occurred in 1996. And don't miss President Trump's first State of the Union address of his second term next Tuesday. The president is expected to cover the most pressing issues of our day, from the economy to achieving peace abroad, and he'll reveal his yearly plan to Congress, the nation, and the world. Join NTD's Tiffany Meyer, Steve Lance, and Mari Otsu at 7 p.m. Eastern to track the president ahead of his speech, hear reactions from lawmakers, and speak with panels on what it all means. Don't miss it. We're now in the third week for the search for Nancy Guthrie, and so far thousands of tips haven't led authorities to a suspect or the missing grandmother. The Pima County Sheriff says they're not giving up, though. More news after this break. Stay with us.
Kids love it. Parents trust it. Obviously. Explore GJW Plus Kids Series and Ganjion Campus courses led by expert educators. This is spectacular. Children will learn values like respect, responsibility, and knowledge in language, science, and more. Wow. All while having fun. Perfect. Subscribe today at GJW Plus Kids, where learning meets fun.
Food. It fuels our bodies, nourishes our spirits, and brings us together. Because we all need nutritious food to thrive.
Food gives me energy and it also helps me focus.
But not everyone knows where their next meal is coming from. And 1 in 7 people in America face hunger. It's tougher than ever for too many of us. But the simple truth is, ending hunger is possible, and it starts with you. Call or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, to help families in your community facing hunger. Feeding America works from coast to coast with partner food banks, food pantries, and meal programs. Your monthly gift delivers food where it's needed most, puts fresh food on the table, and helps kids have healthy meals all year round, even when school is out.
You can see the difference with the kids when they're full. Food is everything.
Please call the number on your screen or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org. Give $19 a month. Your first gift can double in impact. And we'll send you this free canvas grocery bag as a reminder of how you're helping to end hunger for good.
When it comes down to it, it's about taking care of your family first and the loved ones that you need to provide for.
Food donations help me tremendously, and I'm very grateful for the food bank.
I have hope.
The simple truth is, ending hunger in America is possible. You can help make it happen. The need is urgent. Call or go online now to helpfeedingamerica.org, and your gift can double in impact.
Mathis Home is the place to find the best values and the most options for your next home furnishings project. Take a look at this modular sectional from Ashley. We stock it in a variety of cover options. And it has built-in Bluetooth speakers and storage. The best part, it's configurable to fit your space. Looks like this costs double from other retailers, but at Mathis Home, you get all this for just $19.99. Come see all the ways we can save you money at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Construction on the Hudson Tunnel project will resume next week. The Trump administration has released all remaining federal funding previously frozen. New York Governor Kathy Hochul saying today that President Trump has released the remaining $127 million after speaking with her. She calls this a major win for workers and commuters. The Trump administration previously froze $205 million for the $16 billion project last year. New York and New Jersey then sued to unfreeze the funding. The president earlier this week criticized the project, saying he is concerned about cost overruns. Hochul says she called Trump after his post and told him the project was not facing cost issues. The Hudson Tunnel project aims to build a new commuter rail tunnel connecting Manhattan and New Jersey and repair a century-old tunnel. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is testifying today in a landmark social media trial in Los Angeles. The case is one of more than 1,000 lawsuits accusing Meta and Google of designing addictive features that harm young users. Zuckerberg is facing grieving families in court today. His testimony comes 2 years after he faced sharp questioning on Capitol Hill. NTD's Christina Corona reports.
So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered.
Several parents who say social media played a role in their children's deaths are expected at the courthouse again this week. One father says his 17-year-old son died by suicide in 2022 after being coerced into sending explicit images on Instagram.
Social media is an absolute addiction for young people at many different levels. It's not just about sextortion for us in this fight anymore. There's fentanyl parents here. There's suicide videos that are getting fed to these young people that are just looking for self-help and looking for an answer. And they're getting fed suicide videos. How to?
Another mother says her 17-year-old daughter died from fentanyl poisoning after she allegedly received laced drugs from someone she met on Instagram.
I don't know how they live with themselves. They have children. They don't allow their children to be on social media. I don't know how Mark Zuckerberg can live with himself knowing that he has his hands are bloody.
Meta and Google deny the claims. Instagram chief Adam Mosseri also testified last week, pushing back against the idea that problematic social media use meets the clinical definition of addiction. Christina Corona, NTD News.
The search for Nancy Guthrie is now in its 18th day with thousands of leads and hundreds of investigators, yet authorities still haven't found the 84-year-old grandmother. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has said they're not giving up. NTD's Arlene Richards has more on the latest.
Someone out there saw something, heard something. We need that person to call us.
As the search for Nancy Guthrie continues, hundreds of investigators are working the case. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told Fox News on Tuesday that they're not giving up. But so far, none of the thousands of tips and leads nor the DNA testing conducted on gloves found 2 miles away have turned up a match to a suspect. On NBC's Today Show Wednesday, the sheriff said DNA found at Nancy Guthrie's property could belong to the suspect.
We believe that we may have some DNA there that may be our suspect, but we won't know that until that DNA is separated, sorted out.
He told other news outlets that they're still looking at a lot of DNA from the Guthrie home. Meanwhile, a Milwaukee attorney offers another $100,000.
And I called Tucson Crime Stoppers, and they were very happy to have me join in.
He said anybody can submit a tip anonymously to Crime Stoppers, and if it leads to the arrest of the suspect, the individual gets the award. Officials have reportedly gone to about 40 gun shops to search for clues about potential gun sales to the suspect. Nanos has said that's not true. Nancy Guthrie's neighbors set up a makeshift memorial of yellow flowers and ribbons near her home. In solidarity, NBC's Today Show, where Guthrie's daughter Savannah Guthrie works as a host, similarly decorated their studio with yellow flowers and ribbons. The Today Show host's mother has been missing for 3 weeks. Her family has been cleared of all suspicion. In another social media plea Sunday, Savannah Guthrie again said that the family is not giving up.
We still have hope. And we still believe.
Arlene Richards, NTD News.
An ICE operation turns deadly after an illegal immigrant flees. A Guatemala national was speeding away from a traffic stop in Georgia Monday when he crashed into another vehicle, killing a local teacher. Oscar Vasquez Lopez was arrested following the incident. He faces first-degree homicide by vehicle, reckless driving, driving without a valid license, and other charges. The woman killed in the accident was identified as special education teacher Linda Davis. Homeland Security says federal officers were trying to enforce a removal order before Lopez sped away. Authorities say Lopez entered the United States illegally at an unknown date and had no other criminal history. Lopez was injured in the accident and was taken to the hospital. Police say his injuries were not life-threatening. NYPD found an injured American bald eagle trapped on ice in the Hudson River. The phenomenal rescue has since gone viral on social media. We'll take a look at that after this break. Don't go away.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want life insurance that fits their budget and is simple to get. Coverage options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase, guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums, guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary planner. Both are free with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record important information and your final wishes, and it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-357-4821 for your free information. That's 1-800-357-4821. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-357-4821. That's 1-800-357-4821. 1-800-357-4821. Call now.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
An American bald eagle rescue is going viral. New York City Police Department posted the Tuesday rescue to social media. NTD's Sean Marshall has more details.
An American bald eagle was trapped on ice in the Hudson River Wednesday morning.
His claw's bleeding too.
New York City Harbor Unit officers spotted the injured eagle while patrolling the river. The eagle could be heard calling out for help. NYPD posted the miraculous rescue to their social media and the post went viral. Officers wasted no time and quickly used an animal control catch pole to gently lift the injured bird into a tarp and safely onto the boat. One ex-comment says, "So cool, some of the unspoken good deeds you guys do every day. Thank you from all of us New Yorkers." Another commenter said, "God bless you for doing this. The love we show to animals, especially to this creature, a symbol of our great country, reflects the love God shows us. God bless America, our law enforcement, and our first responders." According to Gothamist.com, the animal was brought to Raptor Trust Wild Bird Rehabilitation Center in Millington, New Jersey. The Trust executive director said the eagle is still in critical condition, but did not describe the animal's injuries and is trying to get the eagle healthy enough for further treatment. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
President Trump attending a reception at the White House for Black History Month. We'll bring that event to you live in the next hour. Don't go away.
In times of uncertainty, technology for humanity matters more than ever. Ganjing World utilizes technologies to promote kindness, respect, and trust among people. Subscribe to GJW Plus. Enjoy over 10,000 movies and shows. Ganjing Kids, the #1 safe platform, value-based learning and fun for kids. Be part of technology for humanity. Subscribe now.
Hi, I'm Susan Lucci. You may know me from my many years on television. I never thought about heart disease until I had my own heart event. I felt this slight pressure in my chest, just slight. I thought, oh, it's nothing, it'll go away. I didn't get it. I did not get it. A few days later, while shopping at a boutique, that pressure returned, much stronger. It felt like an elephant pressing on my chest. I had a 90% blockage in my main artery and a 75% blockage in the adjacent artery. I was rushed into surgery where I received 2 stents in my arteries. Stents developed through research funded by the American Heart Association. Those stents saved my life. That's why I'm in front of you today, asking you to join me in supporting the American Heart Association by becoming a monthly donor. Call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough. Get the next person trained in CPR, the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. I'm so grateful to the American Heart Association. Their research helped save my life. I can enjoy life with my children, my grandchildren, and my friends. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, and your support now can help save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card, and we'll send you this special t-shirt that you can wear to show that you are helping save lives. Please, listen to your heart. The only reason I'm here today is because I did.
Please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org. Become a monthly donor during February Heart Month, and your first month's gift will be matched.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner.